Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to FOA Live. Excited to be here today with my co-president, Rush Olney. I'm Jennifer Katrulya, and the two of us are going to spend today's show with you today without any guests, just answering questions you have and giving you updates about all the changes we've had going on with FOA. We receive a lot of your questions by email and text message and through a bunch of other channels. And so thank you for spending the time with us today. And Rush?
Rush Olney, co-president. Happy to be here. The shortened week with the holiday here in the U.S. So we shifted a day and hope we have everybody joining us that normally would and are happy to ask or answer and address questions. Please use the private chat. We'll have more time today to weave those in as we go through our slide deck and sort of get everybody caught up on what's happening with FOA.
Awesome. So, and for those of you who have been attending the last few weeks, when we did our first show, we had it very carefully scripted and including the things that Rush was going to cover and that I was going to cover. And then I just chattered over everything. And so he doesn't stand a chance. And that way, so coming into the last couple of calls, we agreed that we would just be a little bit more freeform. We're enjoying the experience with you. Again, through the comments, please feel free to chat with us. And we do have some slides we're going to share today, which would not normally be the case. But for those listening live and for those who watch the recording later, again, we just want to share, we know there have been a lot of changes and questions, and we have a lot of really cool things coming up. So we are going to kick off some slides. And this will be also a new experiment for us. So we'll see how this goes and appreciate your feedback. And again, questions, comments, anything you have as we run through it. And so we're going to see if this pops in as it's supposed to. We have some, there we go, just took a second. So really for FOA, what we'll call the roadmap forward, we've been listening. We've spent the last several months in a mix of social events and some thought leadership. We had a great FOA Family Summit back in May in Kansas City. Hopefully a number of you were there with us. And we have a family office retreat coming up in Connecticut next week, as well as social things along the way. We have a polo event coming up on Sunday. Some of you are coming to a New York fashion event on Friday. And then we are, Rush is off to Singapore for some family office networking time there. And we continue on through the F1 events, through some additional summits and retreats into the fall and winter. So a lot of things happening. But what I thought I'd do is Rush and I'll be sharing this presentation is kind of walk through a kickoff of where we feel things are today and where we see things going over the next several months and years with all of you, and look forward to it. As far as, and the questions love already that they're kicking off, as far as the polo event, that'll be at the Greenwich Polo Club on Sunday. It will actually be there the next 3 Sundays. So on the FamilyOfficeAssociation.com website, there's an events page. Feel free to check out the events page, and you'll see that mentioned later today as well. But you'll see polo, you'll see a number of the other events listed there. So, but love the questions. And Shirley, hello, and Giovanni, hello to you. So
yeah, thanks Shirley for covering that for us. Much appreciated.
Rush, this is going to be your first polo event, right?
It will be. So I am very excited. I have not been, I think I've been to one horse race ever or any event with horses and people. So I'm excited to be woven into the fray, so to speak.
It'll be fun. I was on a mission last year to try some things I hadn't done before, and an email came from the Greenwich Polo Club telling about the Sunday events, and it was my first experience going with a couple of people who might be watching the show today. We shall see, but it was such a great time that we kept going back. So excited to go this year And Rush is not admitting to it, but he's had to be kind of coerced into coming for this first time. So afterward, we'll report back, but I'm sure he's going to be fairly addicted to it. So we'll see how this goes. But yes, Shirley, thank you for clarifying. We get to watch when we go, not play. That's a whole different. That'll be a different FOA club. But Rush, if you want to, and certainly I'll step in. But of course, but we've really been spending some time thinking about the go forward mission for FOA, and how to crystallize that in and verbalize it, and communicate that message. So you'll see on the screen here some thoughts we've put together. And Rush, if you want to kind of walk through it.
Yeah. So our mission when we came on was we worked a lot with the current staff and did a lot of, I don't want to say interviewing, but had several conversations with current members. And I think what really kind of came to the top and culminated with everybody was the idea of community. And no matter where the groups, individuals, resource council were, it really resonated with a community that is interested in preserving family office legacies through services provided or interaction between the families and sort of each one teach one, which are the legacy families that may be in a second, third, fourth generation, wanting to really help and mentor some of the first gen or new groups that are coming on. And so we felt that this wrapped all that together. And then another piece that was very prevalent were the philanthropic thoughts, ideas, and directives or missions that the family offices had. So we are thinking, or we came up with this sort of mission statement, if you will, that we thought encompassed what we heard as we were listening, for a good direction and tagline for FOA going forward.
Great. And that's so, I think, been showing in the recent events we've had, and certainly again what's coming up next week is the so Rush, it's been, you're seeing the tip that we want a pretty woman for tips.
I'll be the guy that shows up in the Lotus. So, but yes, I absolutely will. I don't think I'm going to don a dress for the event, but I did hear that there is an event with one of our members, Daphne, that it seems like that's the MO, is sort of drag show. So that could be entertaining.
We will have fun with it. It'll be a good time. And so then the really where we go with this, the conversation, the preserving legacies while empowering tomorrow to better the world, is the thought that as we're all improving together and raising all ships, that commitment to philanthropy and to making an impact, we've already found, certainly through the families who are coming to FOA and spending time with us, that becomes the primary mission. And it really goes to that hierarchy of needs, right? As your families are evolving and feeling more prosperous and feeling like, okay, what's next in our generations, and that we want to pass on and teach, that commitment to bettering the world. Keystone National Properties, Mike Packman, as most of you know, is chairman of FOA, and it's right on their website, doing well by doing good. And that's something that threads throughout the activities of the company. And so that's really important. And we want to make sure we continue that on. So with that in mind too, we looked at the restructured FOA offerings, the memberships that have been in place, kind of how we want to move forward. And what I'll share here is the updated membership offerings. Now, it's a little small. You'll find it on our website as well. And initially, you're only going to see 2 of these offered. We wanted to keep it super simple. if I start with the elite membership, this is really what's existed in the past. This is, you can sign on by month or for the year. And that is, the opportunity to attend the many live events we have throughout the year. There's also the invitation to have advisory sessions with the Resource Council members for families who are really focused on best practices and on continuing to build the education into your ongoing practices as a family. We want to make sure you have access to, we've just brought on, as you'll see on another slide, a number of Resource Council members over the last several weeks, really with the mindset of being strategic alliances in your success, not a sales front, not anything hard push, but I think there's often a view of having service providers involved or professional individuals involved in the family office space that it becomes intrusive or it becomes, a hard sell environment. And I think we've all been in those rooms. And so we've been very careful to build out a professional collaboration, because we do have so many families coming to us saying, hey, we do want education, or next gen leaders saying, I am stepping into this leadership role and there's nothing that's fully prepared me to take this on when I'm in those shoes. And so we want to make sure that's available. And so in that legacy membership, that does offer access to the in-person events and to concierge support and to the advisory sessions. We have all of that. We've also added where members who are in the elite membership will have access to the VIP registration for FOA events going forward before they're made available to other membership levels, and also certainly made available for any public registrations. So that's a perk our members will enjoy going forward as well. The Virtual Plus membership is an addition, because we've had a number of people say, hey, I really actually am mostly focused on best practices and on resources and wanting to access through a site. And so being able to log in and get access to those, and then wanting a monthly call. Maybe you're in a market where it's not as convenient to come to the live events, but you want to connect with the other families. And we'll talk a little bit about how that's going to improve through the website. But so the Virtual Plus membership is meant for individuals who want that once a month call with other families and who want to stay connected, but who primarily prefer to be in a virtual environment. And so Rush is going to cover our Resource Council side in a second, but Rush, anything on this slide that you want to point out that I may not have covered?
No, I just kind of touching on the Virtual Plus and that offering. Not a lot of times geography can play a role in that. So we're trying to make that shift to be able to provide the same touch services community, but have it be virtual, which is a new phase for FOA. We're happy to bring that. It'll be a learning curve on our end as well. So as you look at that, if you have any thoughts on it, again, this is community-based and driven. We are very interested in learning how to provide the best platform and environment for the community.
Awesome. So anybody has any questions about any of that, please let us know. And again, happy to share. And so now the kind of lending to what I was just talking about as far as our providers of the resources and education and support for our members. Rush, as you know, Citron Cooperman is certainly how we met FOA to begin with, and had the opportunity to become more actively involved, which has been such a privilege. And we'll again share about our other Resource Council members shortly. But do you want to talk about, for those who are interested in how a company can be involved, or for family members, how they should expect to interact with Resource Council members, what that looks like?
Sure. And again, as Jennifer had stated, we're kind of walking the line to have Resource Council and access to the members and the families, but have that be something that's not burdensome or overbearing. And so as we evolve this, specifically in the virtual space, the FOA microsite, as we've called it, we will work on terminology there, is going to be an environment where there will be subsectors of different types of investments, interest groups that are going to be able to freely communicate with each other. I guess I'd say, opt in to being a part of this. If you are an expert in one of the fields, we'll say real estate, if you have a family office that specializes in that, we have had buy-in verbally from groups that are happy to be mentors or stewards of the real estate group. And what we really want to create is an environment where people that have interest in that can opt in and come in to learn, and people who are experts in that field can come in and be mentors and build relationships organically through these subgroups. And we'll go through the subgroups on a later slide. And excuse me, some of the other aspects of the Resource Council benefits are presentation opportunities, the call to be a thought leader in one of the subgroups, the FOA community events, which again, there are several of them posted on the site. We're happy to touch base with anybody that has interest and is either looking for more detail or would like to attend. And then FOA live broadcast, email blast, sort of what I'd say is the norm of what you would expect with a membership as far as outreach and exposure. We're touching on those, but I think the big focus and what we see is the larger benefit is going to be the community and the opt-in. It's, I would say, I guess, sort of a selected or curated Twitter group or kind of subreddit where you can go in and create those relationships and educate or be educated on topics that interest you.
So, and thank you, Rush. And so I think a major thing here would be keeping in mind, again, that this is meant to provide a platform for those who have something to share and educate, to be able to do that and to reach those who want it. And we try to do it in a really in a way that's not intrusive, and again, really is built through the website as a professional resource center, and look forward to continuing to share those really creative and exceptional talents with members and with our guests who join us at upcoming events. And so if you have an interest.
Thank you, Heather, for the note. We will reach out, or please reach out to us for interest in the real estate subgroup.
Perfect. And so with that, let's also talk about, we talked about membership options, and now in terms of membership groups, we really looked at carefully, and we'll always seek to be pretty transparent with you on these calls. Two things. First, in terms of what we see when we go to family office events, there's always kind of that discussion, well, who's a family office and who may not be a formalized family office, but may be accumulating wealth and headed in the path of becoming a family office, or have that mindset of best practice and interest in investment options. And so we decided, rather than kind of have that constant conversation about drawing the line, we say, there's really a place for both groups here, many times in the same room, and at times when the interest may be enough that there's a line between the two to have the groups separate. So there, within our membership community, we will have family offices who are really structured and operate in a family office format. We also know there are a number of very significant families that are run by council, or that are run in alternate ways, and not a formalized structure, and that also who may be on the rise. So maybe if we use that 100 million mark, that typically would be that drawing line for a family office. Maybe you're at 50 or 70 or 90, but you function very much as a fully formed and professionalized family office. We want to make sure there's a home for individuals who are still, we again say, on the rise, and maybe not be quite in that formal place at this moment, but the education shouldn't just start at the point that you become a family office. So we want to make sure within the membership there are groups and resources for both. And so I think with that, we've decided to form these two groups. And it also allows transparency about when we are having events, if someone feels that they are best positioned for one versus the other, to have that conversation with us. And so, Rush, I think as we were talking about before, the On the Rise group, especially, these are places where the monthly lunches and monthly socials, et cetera, in addition to having been open for families before, we're seeing a lot of the questions and ideas come up from those who are really out and actively in the marketplace.
Yeah, the On the Rise group, as Jennifer was alluding to, is the basis or some of the foundation work to be ready to make that decision when the group wants to or needs to make that decision. So it's sort of a preemptive introduction into not only relationships within FOA and with current family offices, but education and what that really looks like, structures, the cost. Should it be an SFO? Should you go into a multi-family organization? So the thought is that the group that we currently have, who's on the ground and live this every day, would be a great resource to help them formalize and determine if becoming an SFO or going into a multi-family group would be more beneficial, if they want to do that at all. And so it's sort of testing the water in a group and with families and organizations that are currently doing this. So
And so, any questions again about the groups or what that means in a practical sense, please feel free to ask and let us know. And as we continue to see some of the comments come in and questions, we really will go back afterward and make sure that we've responded to you directly if we don't do it during the broadcast. We always feel like we have so much time coming in, and then as I watch, it's kind of flying by already. So, in terms of the peer communities, this is really going to be, this is Rush's house in terms of leading a number of these things. We say that, and of course I'll chime in, but truly this is where we've mentioned philanthropy and impact, and next gen leaders and lifestyle and wellness. I'll certainly spend time on those top three, because I think those are very qualitative in terms of the path forward, and what we'll spend time on. With FOA is making sure that we're looking for ways to help create an environment where people are prospering and then having a giving mindset. As far as next gen leaders, I know so many of you are coming to us and with so much energy, which is amazing, and really helping to pioneer a lot of this forward. And I'm really excited that next week at the retreat that we're having in Connecticut, that there's a lot of that woven in to the panels and really to the event overall. And lifestyle and wellness, I shared a post about this recently on my own LinkedIn, but there are some of you who, fitness and wellness and that balanced lifestyle, and just an enjoyment of, whether it's luxury is not the right word, but like living your best life. Comes very naturally for a number of people. I'll be in the camp that says I have to work a little bit harder at it, certainly on the fitness side. And so, but part of the goal of this community is, again, best life in all buckets. So that giving and philanthropy, the next gen environment, what can we do to make sure we are helping tomorrow, to that original mission statement we shared. And then lifestyle and wellness. On our resource council, we do have Yada Yoga, who we'll hear more from them. We have a number of others who, whether it's in travel, concierge, fitness, a wide range, that gets encapsulated in lifestyle and wellness. We want to make sure we're bringing all of that to you. as we get into global investments and all the buckets down, that's really going to be where we sit, Rush, in your camp. And I know, again, the minutes are flying, but if you want to share a little bit about your background, I think is probably helpful for a lot of people. And then we'll make sure we share more about this. This is probably its own show on a future date. So
Yeah, I won't read through the list. We're working on getting this, or we'll have this available for everybody. I'll quickly go through the menagerie that is how I got to sitting right here. So I've served in the military, worked for a large custodian. Uh, and was a pricing analyst there. Went to work for a hedge fund that designed computer algorithms to trade stocks. We also had a venture private equity branch or section of that everybody in the company, it was small company, 50, 60 people, but anybody who had an interest in whatever the topic or investment was. It was real estate, it was jewelry, it was mining, all sorts of different things. And me being somebody who finds interest in most any topic that has a business that they're trying to build around it, I took ownership in a lot of those ventures for investment or that we were bringing under the umbrella. So technology, I currently work with a group that's in the EB5 space, athletes and entertainers alternatives. I don't have any issue or problems discussing most any sort of business or investment. It's a passion of mine. It takes up some of the sleepless hours. So feel free to reach out to me, Giovanni. Thank you for touching base and kind of putting your laundry list on there. I will reach out to you directly along with Heather. So just reach out. Again, we really want this to be driven by everybody that's on the calls, everybody that's a member, and sort of deliver what you want to hear and see in the platform that you want versus sort of dictating what the topics are and what the discussions are.
And so next week, as we come to you, while Rush and I will actually be at the retreat, kicking off or preparing to kick off the first evening. And so we'll do a deeper dive actually into a few of these specific areas just to give you more of a sense of what each one will include. I will say that each of these peer communities will have their own committee in terms of guiding events and the tone and kind of roadmap forward for these communities. So if you do have interest in any of them specifically, again, please feel free to reach out to us and we'll look forward to having those conversations. The goal is, again, really as the membership continues to grow and as people seek to connect with other members who have those shared interests, to make that an easier path. And so this is just one of the ways that we're moving to do this. And so thank you to all the people who've kind of come to us and said, how do I navigate this? And so we can help you through. As far as Resource Council, we'll just let's touch on this for a second. We are in the process of kicking off the build of a new public-facing website as well as a new member site. The member site we'll walk through in a second. It'll be pretty cool. We're excited. And I do realize we're at the 2:30 mark. I think I have a little bit of time rush if you do. So we're going to hang out and make sure we bring you some of these resources for those who have to hop. We respect it. We kind of were given free reign today. So you don't see Sander in the background, but he's back there running the show today. And he told us he wouldn't kick us off. So we do want to make sure we get this information to you and out in the recording. And so we'll share it, and then we'll be able to, again, deeper dive into some of these areas in the future. But we are very, very excited about the Resource Council members, especially, not especially those who have been part of the FOA family for a long time, and those who now have jumped in and decided to become part of Resource Council, and really very excited about that path forward. And I know some of you are listening today, so it's cool to have you on. We'll be doing spotlights on each Resource Council member in the weeks ahead. You'll also, as we build out the new website, the what is currently the consulting section of the website will start to have real estate for each of the professional areas and support areas that the Resource Council supports. And so you'll see what right now is company names really turned into microsite sections within the site, so that we bring you more education, more resources, really the best that each of us as providers of these various professional services have to offer, so that you're getting that content and support through the site. And so we look forward to sharing that with you, and adding additional relationships as they make sense. And that leads us into the private member site, where for those of you again who are current members, we know that this was offered in the past in a number of settings, such as the master classes and ebooks and things like this. We really are going to take this through a upgraded member login that you'll have access to, with e-learning, with the member directory, right down to the pushpin map. So you're able to find people in their own geographies. For those of you who may ask, this will be opt-in, of course. And then, job board for those who are looking for help within their family office or who have things to offer. We'll include that as well. And Rush, I know you specifically, the chat board was kind of your baby that you started walking through. So maybe you can talk about that a little bit and our vision for it.
Yeah. So the thought here is, as opposed to having supremely formalized video learning or documents, is to replace that with a living digital document or information. We will have white papers. We will have certain resources that'll sort of go on the other resource for more static documents or more static learning material. But the chat board is, call it the water cooler. It is going to be much more of a place to meet and exchange ideas, and what I would call a tribal method, which is going to be mostly verbal, in this case written. It will sort of allow you to unbutton your top button, or let your hair down, so to speak, and have a more personal discussion that typically fosters stronger relationships, which then can go into a more formal setting. And so it's more of a platform or an area for open discussions in certain topics, which will be somewhat defined by the communities. And then just kind of moving to the let's say the new way, but just a more personable approach to relationship building and education, as opposed to here's 20 white papers on REITs or data centers or anything like that. So again, it's really geared towards sort of opening everybody up to have a lighter lift in both education, but really in the building of the relationships with other community members.
And so, and thank you to those who are saying, we certainly understand if some have to hop. And again, we want to make sure, since this particular call will have some resources that we'll share out, we'll continue with the recording. If we aren't able to stay with you for the time, thank you for joining us today. And we'll see you next week on FOA Live on Monday, back on Monday. But thank you again. And so in terms of that member chat board, and again, that sharing, it really goes to our core focus of members helping members. And Rush and I, we really get to have the privilege of facilitating and supporting the membership and the Resource Council. But I think the great asset here is really the way the members help each other. And that's been such a pleasure for both of us to be a part of. So whether it's that you have questions you want to ask or feel that you can help mentor and share with others, or we know people are often traveling to other markets and saying, hey, I'd love to meet people in X city I'm about to go to, or X country, and being able to swap out that information. We really view that as being an active place where that can happen. So we're excited about that. And then just to run through, so our resource section, this will be very fluid in terms of its development, but Innovation Center, those of you who know, we don't actively and can't actively deal make through FOA. But the families certainly who are members, our resource council members, those who we have friendships with, and you do as well, are so involved in companies that are doing really cool things, and that's for profit, nonprofit. And we really want a place where that can be shared. Whether a company is raising or not is irrelevant. And so certainly those conversations, if they happen, can happen offline. But if you know of companies and nonprofits who are making a difference and doing cool things and really innovating, we want to be able to list and include them here and invite them to be a part of the community. They need to be recommended or supported by a member or by a resource council member in order to be included here. But we want to be able to share that. So again, we're excited to open that up, and that'll be separately announced. The marketplace will be, as you'd kind of expect, a place where we have those who provide, let's say, as travel services or lifestyle and wellness and fitness, because it's helpful, I know, to have a quick place to go to access that information. That will be making that available to you as well. And Rush, I'll hog the next one just because I know I have been the one tinkering with this and then impact. So for shopping, we have been getting asks for individuals who want some FOA logoed merchandise. And so, and also we want to, throughout these relationships, whether you're a guest on FOA Live or for members, et cetera, have things that we can give to you. So we do have a shop that will become available through the website with logoed materials available. And they will, if you place an order, they'll be shipped out weekly. So we'll have that up and running by early to mid of next week. And we'll send an announcement through the newsletter when that's live. And Rush, back to the impact section, similar to the innovation section, if you want to walk through what that'll look like.
So the impact section will be similar to the Innovation Center, except for basically, I would say not for profit, but for philanthropy. So it will be the platform where people that have organizations or different options for that they find that they're behind and they're supporting, that they want to discuss with the community as a whole and present that to the community. So it will be the I guess the way I'd put it's the feel good section.
So I love this, and I'm just going to tell you all this because it's going to be recorded, and you can play it back someday down the road. This is a little bit of a partnering test right here. We love to, and I hope to have a lot of fun with all of you as this progresses. I love that he just shared that because it's correct. And we've worked together now for quite some time, but he had no idea what that box was for originally because I just put it there before this aired. So fortunately, we've been talking through this whole model for a while, but as I offered him up to share that out, I was like, well, hope this works out because he had no idea.
Yeah, did I pass? Is the question.
That was amazing. So
if you can't tell, the Jennifer likes to tee up things for me that she knows are going to make me squirm, i.e. the elevator pitch in the middle, which she knows I hate doing an elevator pitch for myself. So I think she is getting a lot of enjoyment out of this railless tangential FOA live we're doing this week.
Yeah, this is
So
amazing. So in future weeks, I hope that again, as we get more comfortable, the pranks will continue. But the goal of this, really, the impact focus, is super important to us. And so, as again, for you members who are on right now, Resource Council members, and as you watch this and have an interest in, really becoming part of the community, it is super important to us that this stays front and center. And again, it'll remain a core part of that mission going forward. So please share with us, and we'd love to have the conversations with you about how we can help. So FOA Global Pickleball Club, we'll only spend a second on this. Many of you have heard us talk about it. We'll do a separate newsletter posting on it, and we already have done some. But kicking off in Kansas City on September 26th, and then rolling out in other cities across the country. I am excited. I don't think he's on the call right now, but Isaiah Peel, who will be sending out an announcement about him. He is based in Kansas City. He has helped us with a prior event or two now, and will be introduced to all of you. But Isaiah is going to be helping us specifically with the Global Pickleball Club. He's got a very professional background in a range of sports and business management, but he's going to really be helping us spearhead the move forward. He's with a large pickleball franchise right now, so he will again, more information about that. But the reason for a pickleball club as part of this family office group, it was mentioned when we had a tournament and casual play in Kansas City back in May, that, you're really spending that kind of time, hitting the balls around on the court, and then having time to just, eat bar food and sit around with drinks for a while. As much as you may get to connect and develop relationships in a conference setting, or in, even in a restaurant or something like that, somehow that very casual, low key end of day, everybody's tired. You've now been out working around for a while on the courts. You've been competing hard, and now just having that time to build relationships really can't be replicated in many other ways. So you could choose a number of different sports. I joke that we had some athletes involved with us at some point, and that pickleball was kind of a level playing field. But we're looking forward to Rush is pretty competitive. So if you're out there on a court with him, I'll be on the casual courts, so you can meet me there. But Rush, anything else about pickleball? I think it's just really a great way we found to bring everybody together.
Yeah, we had an event in Phoenix, Scottsdale at the beginning of this year, around the Super Bowl and the Waste Management Open, and we had a handful of activities. Typically, golf is sort of a great networking event, or a great networking sport. So we had a golf tournament, and we also had a pickleball tournament. And I think what came out of that was the amount of time we were at pickleball was around 3 hours. Golf takes half the day, if not the whole day. And the amount of commingling and discussions at pickleball, just the feedback from everybody was how great the pickleball event was, because instead of sort of being siloed off in your foursome or in your golf group, once you play for 12, 15 minutes, you get to go off and you get to mingle with the entire group. And it just really resonated with us that pickleball as an activity really fostered a lot more communication and a lot more kind of bringing everybody together. Golf is great. I would love to play golf with anybody that wants to play once I can swing a club again. But pickleball was just a much more effective use of time for everybody that was involved. And it's really, really great. Get out, beat the ball around for 10 or 15 minutes, sweat, grab some drinks, and then anybody that's not on the court, it's just everybody's kind of having fun, laughing. Again, the feedback was that it was just a more productive way to spend the 3 hours.
And so, as all you tennis players just muted us, so don't worry, we won't hold it against you. If you so, we invite everybody out. The way these events will work on a monthly basis, or quarterly, depending on your city, is that we will have a reception or happy hour, and have a couple of speakers. The goal here is to we've called it so far. That it's courts and causes, because we want to be very impact minded even at these events, and invite 2 companies, again, for profit or nonprofit, that are doing things that do make an impact and do give back, to be our speakers at each one of those reception events. And then those will run about 90 minutes, and then we'll kick in to about the same amount of time on the courts. And it's family friendly, so kids are welcome, immediate family. And I should stress again, back to the membership conversation, that immediate family is a part of your membership. So certainly we encourage you to bring them out for these events, and we're excited again to kick them off. And so that brings us, almost to the end here, that in terms of how to keep track of events we have coming up on the FOA website, we do have many of the events listed right on the second tab over. You can see we have the about, we have the events, and then we list the live events. I will say that there are, as our membership continues to grow, and as again a benefit of being a member, there will be more and more events that are shared with members only. And invitations that are extended to members only. And so you will not see those on the site. If you have interest in a particular area, please let us know. And if we randomly have something comes up that we can share outside of membership, we'll keep you posted. But certainly we want to have more of you join us. We're excited to have that happen. And I love, even over in the chat, seeing the exchanges there. So please feel free to continue that. And I think that's a great thing to come out of this. Other ways to learn about us in terms of what's happening, we do send out a weekly newsletter. And that newsletter is sent out through HubSpot. So if you're blocking HubSpot, you won't get it, but try to open us up if you can. And then it is on LinkedIn as well. And then based on a number of requests for a feed, we will be kicking off a feed as well. So you'll get the updates to the events. And I think, Rush, just for sake of time there, if you have anything else about the events, otherwise we'll hop into walking through some of the Q&A, but say good afternoon to everyone. And so Giovanni and Guy and a bunch of you, I love the chat today, and it sounds like there'll be a lot of follow-up, which is very cool.
Absolutely. Christian, thanks for the note. Guy, Heather, I know you said you had to run, but just on the off chance that you're still on, thank you.
So next week we will be at Water's Edge in Westbrook, Connecticut. We'll be live with you on Monday. We will be co-leading beach activities and outdoor retreat fun on Monday, and then we will also lead into Monday night our opening dinner, and Tuesday the thought leader sessions. So thank you very, very much, everyone, for joining today. Really appreciate it. And as you send us questions and follow-ups, we will both respond. Rush?
Absolutely. Yep. And so I guess the comment section is sort of the precursor to what the expectation is for our chat rooms and focus groups, where Christians come on and ask a specific question and to Giovanni. And so that, again, is what we would like going forward on the site, and have the platform to deliver that in a seamless and enjoyable way for everybody to connect and communicate.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much, everyone. Really appreciate it. Sandra, thanks for not pulling us off with the hook. And we hope you had a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll catch up with you next week. Take care, everyone.
Take care, all.